Hi there, good to see you again.
Good to
Thank
see you,
you.
my friend.
Thank you for coming on my channel to discuss the crazy situation this country is
God, tell me
immersing
about it.
through. Uh, I mentioned in my last video that I posted that I was still recovering from the previous day listening to that testimony. And I'm
Oh, and
still,
he's at those places like he's performing. Trump is performing right now, talking trash about everything and everybody.
yeah, he doesn't stop. I mean, that's the thing with
Yeah,
this guy. He's just relentless, you know. It's a,
yeah.
it's a relentless thing, but
So
I don't think it's going to do him any good. I really don't.
no, no.
No, no, because in some ways, my sense is that the fact that they have not cut him off completely because they're caught between a rock and a hard place, because they know that if they were to all say en masse, okay, that's it, we don't want to hear from you, then all his voters, at minimum, will become depressed, and then they won't vote. So if they had like pulled the band-aid off back in January of 21, maybe they would
Yeah,
have recovered by now because they'd have
right.
inflation, this and that. But as it is, they're saddled with this guy, and to my mind, if he announces that he's going to go for president before the midterms, it would be another major blow to their chances. On top of Roe v. Wade, gun issues, and so forth, because of all the damage this is doing, plus the fact that he's going to talk about the election, and they're going to, it'll distract, I think, and it'll cause problems. But what's your
Yeah.
sense?
Well, I mean, I see him running for sure.
You see him running?
Yeah,
Oh wow!
but I see him falling as fast as he stands up. He stands up and then he falls down.
And you don't get a sense that it would be before or after?
I don't even know if he gets all the way. I see him announcing his run, but I don't know if he gets all the way to be able to run. I think
Well,
DeSantis is going to give him a real run for his money, too. He's got to be punished because we can't let him try to destroy the United States and then walk away like his what you call don't smell.
yeah, and I don't have any doubt about that. First of all, I don't know if you heard Merrick Garland and his latest statements, and I remember saying this quite a while back because he had done this speech a long time ago when he was saying, that the Justice Department would pursue all leads to a
Anybody.
conclusion. But this time he was even more emphatic in saying we got to get it right and so forth. But people just get so frustrated with
Oh, I know they're tired of the wait.
the
And that
justice
woman
system.
that just had threatened Nancy Pelosi that she's come to shoot her, she got 60 days in jail.
Oh, really?
60 days.
That's not much, is
For
it?
threatening to kill the third most powerful person in the United States.
Is that which woman is that? Is that not one
It
of the
was.
senators? Obviously, it's someone else.
It wasn't a senator. No, it was
No.
somebody who went in there and threatened to shoot Nancy Pelosi. And people were saying you get more for that for having too much pot on you.
Depending on the state.
Yeah,
Depending on the state. If you're in California or Washington State, you get a prize.
right, right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I still think that not just Merrick Garland's statement, but I know with Merrick Garland's chart, and this is it's a strange thing because right now, especially with Biden, people talk about his low approval ratings and so on, but Biden is a Scorpio, so is Merrick Garland, and the Saturn cycle in 23 is much easier
It is. Thank you.
23 for Biden and for Garland, so that now you can make whatever you want out of that. But to me, that broadcasts that we just got to be patient and let this
Yeah.
thing play out. And I mean, Liz Cheney just said, how did she put it? That the dam is breaking. Why would she say things like that? If it wasn't really happening, why? I mean,
Oh no, she don't mess around.
no, no. So I mean,
So, what sign is Liz?
she's Leo.
Okay, because I haven't looked at your video of talking about her.
Yeah, actually, in that video, I didn't really do too much detail. I'll do that tomorrow in my class, then I'll post that. but I basically said that it's very strange to me, very, very strange that she's running because people have this idea that the election is in November. For her, her fate is decided next month because they have a primary. She has to win that primary in order to run in November.
Okay.
So if she loses the primary, then the other woman, this Hageman woman, runs in November. So her fate is August. And, I don't know how she loses with the astrology that she has. If she
It
loses,
looks good.
it is, it's really good. If she loses, then that would mean that, I don't know, some other thing would come up, I guess, for her to cash in, to that really great energy. So it's a bit mystifying. What's your sense of what's going to happen?
I'm going to look right now. I think I read on her before and I said she was going to win. She's going to win.
Okay, well then.
She's got the Nine of Cups, which is a yes.
You got a Nine of Cups?
She
Yeah.
comes in as a stronger person. Temperance will see her through. Apparently, she's getting a lot of money.
Well, that's true. That we know already. That she's out.
Oh, she's building up big time ducats.
She's got more money than by the way, that was another. This is a segue here, but for people that are all, worried about the Senate and the House. Well, the House may not be the best story, but the Senate. I don't know if you saw this thing. They published these fundraising totals, and the Democrats are completely outraising. Like that guy Warnock is. He's raised something like 17 million to 1 million for the other guy. I mean, it's a huge gulf.
Oh my God! How
there's a
about
lot of-
Fetterman? Have you noticed anything on Fetterman?
He was also outraising Dr. Oz.
So why do people keep writing me like, "Oh, we've been begging you. We've been begging you. This is our third time ask." Why do they keep bugging me for money when they got tons of money?
Well, that's how they get the money. They beg you. I mean,
They keep begging you. Oh, Linda, may we be so bold to ask it? You've got 17 mil on your jacket. Just leave me alone.
yeah. Well, I mean, in a way though, that's the system you use, right? You're throwing seeds out there, and they're probably bots.
It's got to be, it's not even them. It's whoever works with them and does these things.
Yeah. But yeah, Liz for sure. And I did look at her opponent, but I don't have a time for her opponent, whereas I do for Liz. So the opponent's chart, it's okay, but it's not great. It's not the kind of chart that you'd think something jumps out. It's okay at best.
Is she wanted by Trump to win?
Yeah, she's Trump's, assigned whatever. But the counterpoint is that the polls, she's up 20 points. Right now.
Over Liz?
Liz is like 30 and she's 50. I mean, there's a big gap. That's the concern. Like, how does Liz pull this off?
Right.
They say maybe Democrats will vote. It would be quite a heist though, because if she did it, I mean, no matter what, if she didn't do it, it would hurt her standing, and it would give Trump something to crow about, and all of that. So it's not particularly.
Well, also, you don't know with these hearings and stuff, maybe a lot of people will be tired of that it was a fraud when it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is that we're like we're in high wire territory here on all kinds of levels, because there's the Liz thing, and then, the constant talk in the press. All I ever see is how the House is pretty much a done deal that it's going to go Republican, but that doesn't make sense,
No.
with Trump's chart, with Biden's chart.
Yeah,
It
his
doesn't make a lot of
chart looks
sense.
fantastic.
Yeah, and McCarthy, because McCarthy's is problematic at best, the way his chart is set up.
And McConnell too, right?
McConnell, I don't have a time for, but he's got similar cycles. I had brought this up in the past. They're very similar to the period when he was out of power between 2010 and 2014, those 4 years. So that's what leads me to believe that he may be held back, because Schumer's is pretty good, right? That's how you can read it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So,
Did you ever look at Chuck Grassley?
No, I didn't look at his. Why?
You gotta
What
look
you
at him
say?
sometime to see, because he's the one that announced that if word is Biden won't be available and he'll be handling the delegates, the counting of the delegates. He
Biden-
said that before January 6th.
You mean Biden, or you mean
Chuck Grassley.
that he was going to
I mean,
replace
he's saying Pence won't be available.
Pence?
Sorry.
Going to be available. Oh, and what are you looking for there? Are you looking for him for some kind of crooked?
I'm sure he knew something. I don't know if he'll get in trouble, but
Well, there's a whole list. The even without times, to give you some examples, Lindsey Graham's got problems for sure, and I mean you already see, right? He's in trouble, and so does another one that is in a dangerous territory for quite a while. I don't know when he's up next, but this guy Josh Hawley, the guy.
oh yes, run, Josh, run.
Yeah, yeah. So he's also, looking at potential problems. I don't know when he's up for re-election, though. I don't know if it's 20.
I don't think it's up now. I think it's
It might be
26
24. Yeah, but he's
or
definitely
yeah,
not doing well,
24.
as
24.
might be expected. So
Yeah.
so yeah. My sense is that with the hearings, because of the way they are, it's correlated so precisely with Trump's chart, kind of declining into the summer, the way the summer, I mean, this was known months ago. And the fact that what wasn't known even, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks ago is that when they brought on Cassidy, then all these other people, like apparently it wasn't for sure that Cassidy herself would even testify. And then that led to more people, so that, there's been this cascade of new information, which would suggest that things are likely to get even worse,
Yeah, and they're Republicans under oath.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Trump keeps talking trash about everyone, and everyone's saying, sit under oath and then tell us.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I think, I mean, to the people who, and there are many on my channel, I'm sure you get many on yours too, that they'll say, yeah, but Liz Cheney, she's terrible because of the things she did and the things she believes. I know, but in politics, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You got to go one step at a time. And at the moment, she's very useful because it's far better for Democrats to present their case through Republicans. It gives you credibility. Even if, like this Pottinger guy, he was saying, oh, Trump had great foreign policy. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You were in Helsinki with him. That's foreign policy? That's what you guys were doing?
Oh
Seriously, how do you keep a straight face with these guys? But at least at the key moment, he decided he had had enough. Even if it was because he was scared, he would also go to jail. I don't know. Whatever the reason, who cares, right?
So what's going to happen to Bannon, my friend?
I think he's going to get something.
A 2-year sentence? Or he's found guilty.
I think isn't it maximum of 1 year?
No, it's 2 years, two different. He was found guilty on 2 counts.
Well, how big? I don't have a sense of how
it's
big.
It's a year each count.
Well, all I can say about Bannon is that on what I have, it's actually 2023 that is the roughest, right? But, however, I've seen plenty of cases of people where they walk themselves into a problem well ahead of time. So then all that's saying is that 23 doesn't work, and it could easily be because he's in the slammer. Yeah, I mean.
But also, he was announcing exactly what Trump was going to do.
Yeah.
And if he's losing, he's going to say it was a hoax.
Yeah, he said that.
The whole voting, he said that out loud. So he's got some stuff coming up.
Yeah, no, I mean, what I sometimes wonder is, how do these recordings get out like that? How is it that they're like the gang that can't shoot straight? I mean, if you're going to be a crook, why don't you at least be a good crook and don't leave traces?
Did you see the hearings with Josh Hawley when he said he did the bump, and they said, yeah, the Capitol Police were furious at him because he riled up the people out there by doing that bump. Then they show him running for his life in the Capitol run. And when they showed it, that clip, everybody in the audience busted out laughing.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, people have to realize that everything we say doesn't mean these people aren't going to keep fighting. And Hawley, I saw this article where he's saying, oh no, we're going to fight the libs to the death and all this. So they're not giving in, and they constantly spin, sometimes
everything
outrageously. Like you'll read the explanation and you think, you can't be serious. But they take some story and pump it out to their people. And the
But
people,
they're people we there's more of us than there are of them.
yes,
And
absolutely.
because of them taking rights away from women, they haven't even codified women's rights. So, there's women that are going to come out in the thousandfold and vote.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well. That they probably, even though again, sometimes with news, if you listen to enough news, you keep getting the counterpoints. And I've heard a couple of people saying, well, Roe v. Wade, it's only one factor. It's not as important as gas prices, blah, blah, blah. I'm not convinced of that because it's a very immediate, very pressing issue.
Is it women saying this or is it men?
No, that was a man, of course. Okay, yeah, no kidding. I mean, yeah, exactly. Although, if you, by the way, if you turn on Fox News, Laura Ingraham will tell you that the same thing. So don't think that there aren't women, or Marjorie Taylor Greene,
But
who, by the way,
Laura Ingraham is starting to buddy up to Ron DeSantis.
is she? Yeah, they're probably wondering just how far Trump can take them.
Because Trump is too much noise. He's too much of a hassle. They'd rather take someone like DeSantis, who's just as bad as Trump.
Yeah, although it's hard to be as bad as Trump, to tell you the truth. But you're right. Yeah, he could be. He could be. Yeah, let's just say that. Right. But DeSantis has a problem that he has to first win, unless he doesn't run. He has to win his governorship, and I'm not sure that he'll do that either.
I don't know either. I'm not feeling it strongly that he'll win.
The chart that I have has no time, so there's a big uncertainty there. But it didn't look that great to me either. It looked suspect. And
But
Florida,
if he doesn't win, he still can run for president.
he can, but it's a problem, because when you lose, then hey, how are you going to win? The
Loser.
presidency when you? I know exactly. So on that basis, right, he would take a pretty major hit.
Right, right.
Yeah. So in any case, my sense is that these hearings are going to continue, to
Me too in September, yeah.
have a really big effect and, move the ball forward, even if, it could be this year, it could be next year. Things don't get better for Trump next year or the year after. They don't. Next year, the Saturn cycle is at odds with his sun and moon. It's not a good place to be when the accountability planet comes to pay you a visit, right? So,
Right, exactly.
So on that, by that
You've been
logic,
talking about this for a while, and you've been saying Biden's cards look good for 2023.
they do. Yeah, they do. They do, which is it's mystifying because Joe is in a pretty bad place around. Well, he got sick too, and he's not. The thing with Joe that I have to admit is he definitely has lost a step compared to where he was when he was Obama's vice president. Because
Yeah.
I used to notice with him is that he would make gaffes, but he was quite a smooth talker, and now he's more of a halting communicator. And
Yeah.
in politics, speaking, like the way Liz Cheney speaks, that's how you do politics. Straight to it, very direct.
That's Gavin Newsom.
I know. He's turned into a warrior. I don't know if you saw that he's passing this law where he's in a sense trolling Texas because he's making a law around guns, where how in Texas they have a law that if you know someone who's doing abortion, whatever, you can rat them out and create all kinds of trouble. Well, he made a law in California where if you know about someone with guns or whatever, you can rat them out. So he's doing the sort of California version of the Texas law. I think neither law will probably stand or whatever because they might get challenged. But it's sort of the attitude he's taking, where he's publishing ads attacking DeSantis, and that kind of thing.
Well, I went down to get a new gun yesterday, and I took the gun test, and I only got 2 wrong. And I thought that a person can own a gun when they're 18 because I'm looking at all these killers. And as soon as they turn 18, so I put 18. In California, it's 21. I didn't know that.
21.
You can't own a gun till you're 21, pistol or anything else.
Yeah, there are more restrictions.
Yeah, but I didn't know that, so I missed those 2. But I still passed the test.
So you own a gun.
But I was basing it on watching the news.
Yeah, they're probably state by state. because I know in my state here in Washington, it's more restricted. It's more, more controlled than it is
Right,
in Texas
right, right.
and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, you can carry a gun in Texas, right?
You,
They
you can,
yeah, they showed those little tiny, teeny tiny women with those big AKs swung across their backs, standing in line at Burger King.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty
It's like
amazing.
how by the time that little person was able to pull that gun out, someone would have already shot him dead.
Yeah, that with the guns, I'm hoping that this thing that I talked about in a past video where this astrologer doing research pointed to the fact that gun legislation has been passed whenever Saturn goes through Aries. You look back, right? And Saturn is going to be in Aries post the next election.
Okay.
So, like, I interpret that as a positive signal for Democrats to be reelected because how could you pass significant gun legislation if the Republicans are in power? It's never going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
that would be like a conversion, to some religion unexpectedly. Like, when would that ever happen with this crew? They're
And then
completely,
Marjorie Taylor Greene is pitching a fit because someone put stickers on her sign. She put some sign out. And she said she asked for protection from the Capitol Police, but they protect those Democrat women more than they protect me. This is the same woman who ran along AOC and everybody, just name calling them and everything. She's a horrible person, and the Capitol Police know it.
yeah. And by the way, they threw her off Twitter.
Yeah, they threw off her personal one. I guess her Congress one, she's still on.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, if she keeps pushing the envelope, they'll ban her, right? Because
Okay, well, they got rid of the president.
she'll have to go on Truth Social to tell lies, right? Like, isn't that amazing that he calls this thing Truth Social? I mean, the man is
Oh
incredible.
my God. And then last night he was saying, oh, that whoever that girl is, I don't even know her. She said that I leaned across and grabbed that FBI agent and I did this and that. And they've corrected. They said it was a town car, not the beast. But he keeps insisting on the lie. And then he said, and throw food. I've never thrown food. Well, Robert Woodard and that other guy that wrote one of the first books about Trump, who sat there in the White House and watched what he did. I mean, he threw coffee pots and everything else. He's a thrower.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I know from his chart by gauging how he's expressing his planets, he's a really angry, first class liar. He lies about at the rate that he breathes, and he's got a really close to the ascendant Mars. Even for a person who might be, with a little bit better character, could still have an anger problem. He's got a huge anger problem.
Yeah.
He's like irascible. So
Well, he demands total dedication.
yeah, total loyalty. Yeah.
Total dedication. You do
Yeah.
not like that girl that's coming up with him. They got to be the deniers of they have to believe in the big lie. Even though no proof has come forward, everybody begged him. The Republicans begged him, come on, give it to us. Show us where this happened. Didn't have anything. Come on, Rudy, give it to them. No.
This is the thing. I mean, the thing about Trump, too, is his genius is in that he knows that he can have a group of people follow him without evidence because to them, the white supremacy idea is superior to all the rest. Right? They
Right.
don't care. I mean, because he believes the same thing they believe around immigration or, a number of topics. So what? He lies. Their attitude is he lies, they lie, they all lie. He just lies better, which is
Right.
the way he thinks too. Trump's worldview is I'm just the best liar. Everybody's lying, right? I happen
So
to
do
be
you ever look at the worldview on this heat wave we're going through? Jesus, fires are coming up on the UK. Right now, we've got Yosemite nearly burning up, heading towards Modesto.
I have a feeling that if you go by the stations of planets, right?
Yeah,
Right now, the Jupiter station is in Aries, which is a hot sign. And so as we go over the crest of it near the end of the month, and then it starts to go the other way, it should get easier. Same with why we're hearing that inflation is starting to taper, gas prices are going down, because Jupiter is an expansion principle. So
Okay.
you expect it to cause or be related to inflation, because especially in the U.S. chart, although inflation is worldwide, but in the U.S. chart, it makes a square to the sun. So that would tell you going into August, even though normally August can be really hot, right? But
Right.
it should improve. And if there's a peak, it would be this month, like later in a few days type thing.
Okay. Because something's going into something. I looked at my usual astrology, plain Jane kind of astrology. It said something's turning into something and it's going to cause some stress, which I'm already feeling.
Wait, do you remember
Did
what
you notice that?
do you remember what it was?
Let me tell you. It wasn't one of you guys. It's hold on, I'll tell you. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Where are you? Okay, 1 second. Where are you? It's not, I like this other one too. I want to say it's Sedona. It's a little place up in Sedona that I read their horoscopes every week. And I think this is it. And they do a horoscope. No, I guess Center for the New Age. And of course, I can't get the one. Anyway, they were talking about something going into something. I should have had it out. Sorry about that. And it was going to cause some stress.
Well,
And I'm feeling it right now. Maybe it's just for Virgos.
yeah, well, no, actually, yours, because I know your chart, it's a little different.
Okay. I'm not the same as
In fact,
everybody else.
the way I know that, without getting into specifics, is because you can see the connection to your stress yesterday,
Yes.
because there was a lunar trigger of where the Saturn transit is, and
Okay.
and I experienced some stress myself based on the same thing, and they're factors like they connect to your own chart more
Yeah.
directly than like by saying things like this planet is going into Leo or Virgo, and then this will create, worldwide stress. It sort of, but
Well, this one says for everybody, tensions are looking high as we come to the end of July. July 24th, Venus squares Jupiter. Watch out for misplaced confidence and errors in judgment. Financial and emotional moderation is called for. Then on Tuesday, Mercury squares Mars. Tempers flare up quickly and impulsive decisions could result in violent consequences.
Mercury square Mars, definitely. I that's a pretty good interpretation. The other one, Venus square Jupiter, that has more to do with partying too much, having too good a time, like basically, throwing discipline to the wind and going overboard, and then therefore finding some problem with that. But not everybody's going to do it too. I mean, it'll be
Right.
people that hook into that. That the other one, Mercury square Mars, that's definitely a potential for anger. But even there, you have to realize if everybody in the world at the same time got angry, can you imagine? If every
I know,
person
I
was
know.
wired, it'd be like we just have a fight. Just
So there's particular aspect, does it affect somebody more than the other?
yeah, the whole idea would be that if in the sky you get an aspect, say two planets, right? Like the way this person is describing Mercury square Mars. If you happen to have a planet either on the Mercury or the Mars or making some angle to those two, then yes, it'll hook into you and broadcast or connect to the idea of irritation, which would then,
Okay.
because Mercury Mars is caustic speech because Mercury is talking, communicating, and Mars is aggression and martial energy, essentially.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing is, the bigger picture would be, say, the Jupiter, right? Which where it is at 9 degrees Aries, if you have a planet there, it's actually really good. Or if it's a planet at 9 Sagittarius or 9 Leo, anything like that is going to trine, which would be really
Okay.
nice. But in the case of Trump, where it sits is not good. That's why everything is coalesced for him, because in his case, it's triggering something from the legal house, which means he's getting all this information, coming out that is very damaging. I mean, I think that I've never seen anything worse than what I just saw, where
Really?
basically,
Oh, sweet
well,
talker.
painting the guy sitting watching TV, which he says he wasn't, by the way. He says, I wasn't watching TV. How do they know I was watching TV?
Because everybody says so.
Yeah, exactly. And because you didn't want to let the photographer take pictures. How about that?
Right. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And the photographer will say, well, he was sitting in there watching TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he was gleeful. He was gleeful. He was mad he couldn't go down there. That I was surprised about, because I thought he might be a little chicken, but he wanted to. If he was there, honest to God, Andre, what do you think would have happened?
Nothing good for him.
I think he would be gone now.
I know. I mean, for the country, it would have been better. Yes, because when you hear, you gotta, in my sense, when you're looking at these situations, you gotta look at everything you're hearing and try to gauge, well, how would this have gone? The way Milley in the report, Milley, they asked him and he said,
Yeah.
I can't believe this guy. There's something happening and he get like not a single call. He doesn't call anybody. He doesn't call the military. He doesn't call the National Guard. So Milley is the one with all the guns. If there had been this big fight, the National Guard and Milley would have gotten involved. And
Yes.
how is that going to put Trump in power in the presidency? How?
No, and Milley had a duty to protect the Constitution and the Republic, not to protect him. So if he was in the middle, and if they had actually killed somebody, and Trump was all excited and happy about this, they would have taken him down. I'm telling you, he would have gone straight to jail
Almost certainly, especially if they had done
for
something.
inciting this horrible thing. It would have been over for Trump.
I would say 100%.
Trying to tell the military, I am the president. Do not touch my people. They wouldn't have cared him saying that.
Right, but then you see, like, okay, when you look at that, then you have to say, okay, so then if you look at Trump's luck, in quotes, right, you would say, okay, was that lucky or unlucky for him? It was lucky in that
Lucky.
he would have been in even more trouble. However, it might be unlucky in that then he remains in power and he makes things worse, right? Or he remains like in power, like in terms of he still has the base following him and he keeps complicating his life and he's damaging the GOP because if they had stopped him there, like if something really bad had happened, then he would have been removed and then the GOP would have to recreate their platform and start talking about real things. So this is where the luck factor. It just depends how you look at it, right? Now I have something else here that's interesting. I think I may even, not that they'll listen to me, but send it to the senators somewhere. As I have a suggestion for a way the Democratic Party should run, labeling the Republican Party, right?
Yeah.
And this goes to, how they're always using insults, tag names. Okay, so they're the GOP. So for the first way to say it doesn't match because one of the letters doesn't match. Basically, I would repeat over and over and over, government mandated pregnancies. That's what these people are about, okay? But that's GMP. If you don't like that, government ordered pregnancies. That's the
There
GMP.
you go. There you
But
go.
this is what they're doing. Now, I'm saying it and maybe it may sound funny. It's actually true. It's what they're
It's
doing.
true.
Right?
And also, did you see more women are asking to be sterilized?
No, I didn't see that, but it
Yeah,
really
more
doesn't
women
surprise
in the
me.
United States are asking to be sterilized. I tried to get sterilized when I was 36 years old. I had my daughter. She was going through a lot. And I said, I never want any more kids. And I went down there and the doctor wouldn't do it. He said I was too young. Then I ended up having my 2 boys, which I don't regret. But yeah, I couldn't get it done. So it's interesting. They're sterilizing women, You can reverse tubal sometimes.
No, I mean, the thing is you can't, this whole thing is misplaced because you cannot, in 2022, you can't take away women's rights like this. You can't. It's too inflammatory. There are too many ways to communicate. Like if you do this 100 years ago, maybe you get away with it. Now, no, I just don't see it. I don't see it even with when I looked at the chart for Roe v. Wade, where I think that's going. It makes no sense to me. I think it's
And
a
also, what is it with not wanting to help women get birth control?
yeah, no,
And
it's
you know, men can't be happy about that. Not every man wants a baby from a woman.
yeah,
And some of these Republican men are saying, okay, we'll start charging child support the minute the woman's pregnant. Oh, God. You know,
yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
that'll work.
That'll work for sure. Yeah, that's
But
the
there's a
solution.
lot of guys that you know they had a good time and they didn't necessarily want a baby out of it.
Yeah, no, it's just too regressive. It's
Yeah,
too the one of the ironies that I see in all this is that if you go back to the 1960s, it used to be that being Catholic was a bad thing, right? They would
yeah,
say, "Oh, he's Catholic." Like John F. Kennedy, apparently it was like a check mark against him being Catholic.
yeah,
Now the
yeah.
entire Supreme Court is Catholic, and they're imposing Catholic values. That's what it is. Like they're kind of saying, we're just going to go with the rules that they have over in the Vatican there. No birth control, no abortion, no all these things. Everything has to be, I guess, Christianity. Which of course I saw this thing where they mentioned that if the Supreme Court agreed with prayers and the what was it, a coach that was praying something about praying, and
Yeah,
then
he could get on his knee and pray if he wanted to.
right, but then someone immediately there was a tweet by someone who said, well, this means that in a different classroom there can be an Islamic teacher and he's going to have everybody repeating the name of Allah. And what are you going to
Yeah,
do now?
and
Are
he
you going
can't
to
do it based on their thing. Yeah,
yeah, but you're going to have to pass a law that says you can pray, but you can only pray this way, right? But not
right.
this other way. It's very complicated.
And that's what the Jewish peoples are doing. They're filing with the court saying, we believe in abortion. It's part of our religion. You can't cram your Christian values down our throat.
Right.
This is a nation that, of separation of church and state. Boy, that Bobart, can you believe? I'm sick and tired of this separation of church and state.
Yeah. But,
Lady, that's how the Constitution was written.
yeah. No, I know. But I mean, Bovert, I mean, don't bring her up because she's part of that crew.
She's
Part
not
of that.
winning. She's losing.
She's losing. Yeah, it wouldn't
She's
surprise me. I
losing.
mean, sure, she's. I put her in the same camp as Marjorie, as Louis Gohmert. People like. I mean, Louis Gohmert. He said on camera. He goes, well, they're stopping us. We can't even lie to the FBI anymore. Well, yeah, that's. What do you mean? Yes, you can't. Of course, you can't lie to the FBI. He actually said that.
And Rand Paul, the first thing we're going to do when we take over is we're going to impeach Garland and we're going to impeach Biden. On what grounds?
Yeah, you need
For
something.
doing their job?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's this is the thing that the threats, the legal threats. I wouldn't listen. I mean, the answer is yeah. You can impeach me if there's cause, or you can charge me if there's cause. But this idea that, like, if Garland charges Trump, that they can take revenge by charging Biden for what? I mean, have you seen Biden trying the insurrections? Like, what has he done to
Exactly.
merit? It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just all talk.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think bottom line, my bottom line in all this is that the key is probably going to be women in the
Oh, yeah.
in the 22 election. And if anyone is hearing this, that should be the bottom line. Think of it as a matter of numbers, of showing up, and of the fact that the things that have happened in the last 2-3 months, tragic in some ways, like the loss of life through guns is horrible, but it's caused a pretty big sense of fear and therefore some emergency around that. That together with the damage to Trump and the fact that he's constantly backing people that might lose, and then most especially, I think Roe v. Wade is a big, big blow.
It's huge. When I heard what the Supreme Court did, I said they just handed the Democrats the midterms on a silver platter. So I'm asking just specifically, will the January 6th Commission have anything to do with the fall of the Republicans. And the most important thing, more so than January 6th, is the women's issues. Women's issues. But look, they're going to put them in the corner and they're going to have a hard time getting out. There's some people who are going to get taken down. So we're going to hear about some stuff coming up. I think our guy in the DOJ is actually going to do something.
Garland?
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you before we end. I wanted to ask you, did you get any hit? What the hell's going on with the Secret Service?
Well, the only hit I got with that, because I don't have anything to, you know, main thing is if I look at the U.S.
Yeah, how can you look at that?
No, actually, no, there are a couple of things. Okay, so one thing is, because usually what I would do is filter it through one of the Secret Service guys. But
Right.
probably because they're in the Secret Service, I put in like that guy's name, Tony Ornato. All I got was he's like born in 19 whatever, but it wouldn't even say the day. I mean, I had nothing to work with, right? But this is where people talk about the Pluto return. The Pluto return, one of the things that you would link Pluto to is the Secret Service. That's exactly what Pluto is. It's the idea of the secret police. And because we're on the Pluto return, that can be one of the agencies that needs overhauling, because Pluto is like re-engineering, reconstructing of something, right? And it's pretty clear that what you never want to see happen is have an agency that becomes like the right arm of the president, because it's looking like he had these people in the Secret Service that were working for him, not for the country, right? Because once they start hiding texts or whatever, what they're telling you is we're protecting the boss. That's not cool. You can't do that. That's like the notion that the having an attorney general that is your attorney. The attorney general is the country's attorney general.
Oh, no,
right?
no. But,
Right. So-
Trump thought that was his attorney general.
Right. So I would not be surprised at all, given the, Liz Cheney, the dam is breaking, and
Yes.
now they're investigating the Secret Service. If they come up with 2 or 3 texts that are really bad, that agency is going to, undergo a big change, and they're going to probably make new rules to prevent this kind of thing happening.
Right.
By the way, I think is one of the reasons Trump, like in the meta level, is here for. He's like the guy who breaks into your house, so then you can call a real alarm specialist to put in a real system to stop other people from breaking into the house. Trump is like that. I mean, he's caused so many problems because he's so indecent that he does things that, normal people wouldn't do. And now we have to bring in laws like you got to show your taxes. You can't send your vice president and have him count the votes the way you want to count the votes. I mean, isn't that amazing? If you could just send this would be like you're in a sports match and you can send the goalkeeper to tell the referee, well, we're just going to do it this way. And, instead of using the regular score, we'll use our score. It's crazy.
Well, and even Chuck Grassley. I kind of wonder if Chuck Grassley even knew. Because why would he be stupid enough to announce it? They might have told him, look, Pence might not be able to make it, so we're going to push you in.
Yeah,
Count it.
possible.
And Grassley says, sure. And he's telling everybody, yeah, Pence, I'll be in there if Pence doesn't make it. But he's not thinking in terms that we're going to kidnap Pence and get rid of him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of times when these things are going on, you're looking at it from a distance. You could be thinking, well, so-and-so had to know. They all needed to know. Not necessarily. Sometimes
Right.
people only have part of the story. They might have just said to him, well, Pence he's in the garage and he won't be able to make it, so you'll be the backup,
Right, right.
Yeah, so they could have worked that way.
Well, it's exciting. And listen, according to my cards, there's some more drama coming up by September
From the committee.
from the committee.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And then the other thing is, here's the thing, right? If the Democrats keep both houses,
Which they
then
will.
it becomes a big problem. I mean, just point forward. What happens then? The
We
committee
start putting
continues.
through everything we need.
Well, and then the committee continues, and and plus the other thing is, if they lose both houses, they're going to blame Trump.
They're going to blame Trump.
They're going to blame Trump. Yeah, because they're going to finally realize, okay, well, we're losing with this guy, right?
Yeah, he didn't do us any favors. Putting somebody like Herschel Walker in there, for Christ's
Oh
sake.
yeah, I mean that guy.
The turtle is so upset because he's counting the numbers and he knows it's a good possibility they're going to lose the Senate. He knows this.
Well, I mean, Herschel Walker, have you seen him? He looks like someone that's been hit in the head, that he wasn't wearing his
Poor
helmet.
guy.
Honestly.
He feels like something out of that. What was that play that someone did about the brother that accidentally killed a girl or something? I can't remember the name. It was a famous play. I think O'Neill did the play. But anyway, he's going to, and he loved rabbits. This guy loved rabbits. I mean, Herschel Walker feels like, I mean, he just straight up lies about everything.
Well, and he's not
And
a
the
good
only
liar.
reason people are for him is because Trump is for him.
Yeah,
So
no.
he's got his idiot right there. He's got his
No,
idiot.
and I mean, see, this translates across the border. I've read, I don't know if you checked this too, that Democrats are trying to get the most Trumpy person elected in different places. They're actually spending money on the race by running ads to promote the worst possible, most Trumpy person, knowing that they're easier to beat. That's Claire McCaskill had done that way back with some nut job in Mississippi. So it's the same thing in Pennsylvania. The guy in Pennsylvania is really Trumpy, and he's trying to defeat a normal, pretty good Democrat, which is a big problem.
Fetterman's going to win big time.
Yeah, and it's the same in Georgia. Warnock is actually a smart guy.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Running against.
Actually, Claire McCaskill lost in Missouri, and she lost to Josh Hawley.
To Josh Hawley, but the person she had beaten prior to that was this. That was the guy that he said something like, "If there's a rape, the body knows to not get
Oh,
pregnant."
that guy, yeah.
Like a really crazy thing that she started running ads to remind people, and so it helped her to get elected. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, it's been great having you on.
It's been
Thank
great
you.
seeing you.
Thank
my
you so
friend.
much. I'm going to be away for a while, but we can reconnect.
I won't tell anybody about your jail sentence.
Well, it's only
I'll keep it under tabs.
30 days. I mean, I'm trying to see if they'll lower it to 3 weeks.
I can see you sitting in jail now. I don't deserve to be in here. Trump does.
No, I mean, if I'm in jail, I'll do it. Well, I don't think they let you, but the idea would be to run a podcast. The way,
Yeah, from jail.
the way,
I don't think they'd let you.
the way Bannon, constantly.
Okay, my friend. Well, you have a good trip.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. I'll see you next week or whenever.